Today we're diving into the games that are truly worth the wait. So buckle up and let's get started. Blood Message. An upcoming single-player action-adventure set in the waning days of the Tang Dynasty, Blood Message follows a nameless messenger and his young son on a perilous 1,000-mile journey from Dunhuang to Chang'an. This cinematic narrative, developed by NetEase's 24 Entertainment Linen Studio using Unreal Engine 5, focuses deeply on themes of duty, family, honor, and sacrifice. Gameplay blends realistic, brutal combat with stealth and survival mechanics, all set across expansive landscapes inspired by East and Central Asia, including historically significant locations like the Mogao Caves. Expect a richly detailed cultural backdrop with heavy emphasis on ordinary heroes amidst tumultuous history.
如果神不肯拯救我们的部族，那就让我来！
War of the Worlds. A hardcore horror survival experience set during a Martian invasion, this upcoming game thrusts players into an open-world environment where they must survive for a week against alien tripods known to exterminate humanity. The game emphasizes resource management, scavenging food, tools, and supplies, while avoiding both hostile humans and towering Martian machines. Stealth, vehicular combat, and survival are all central to gameplay. Some confusion surrounds the project's licensing, and Future One Reddit user suggests the game isn't officially licensed, and jokingly notes the devs probably shouldn't put themselves in a position to be attracting a C&D letter. Star Wars Eclipse Might, a narrative-driven action-adventure set in the High Republic era, developed by Quantic Dream in partnership with Lucasfilm Games. You'll follow multiple playable characters traversing the Outer Rim, encountering political tension, unique species, and branching storylines shaped by your decisions. The game promises deep moral choices, dynamic consequences, and visually stunning environments, blending Quantic Dream's signature storytelling with more traditional action gameplay. Vindictus Defying Fate, an upcoming standalone action RPG by Nexon, Vindictus. Defying Fate reimagines the original Vindictus MMO as a more focused single-player or later co-op experience built in Unreal Engine 5. It puts a strong emphasis on skill-based combat, with precise dodges, counterattacks, and heavy strikes, reminiscent of Dark Souls but with Vindictus's signature fluid mechanics. The game includes returning fan favorites Lan and Fiona, with multiple other heroes, dungeon exploration, boss battles, and a character customization hub. Community feedback from closed alpha tests praised its challenging encounters, gorgeous visuals, and a return to basics feel.
Beheaded.
Davy X Jones, a surreal first-person action-adventure that casts you as the infamous pirate Davy Jones, whose body and detached skull form an unlikely duo. Set in a fantastical underworld of floating islands called the Locker, you will fight cursed seafarers, monstrous sea creatures, and even legendary pirates like Blackbeard. Gameplay features include close-quarters swordplay, firearms, a grappling hook tethered to your skull, naval battles aboard Abbey, a hybrid ship whale, and epic boss encounters amid a richly stylized pirate realm.
Who's the greatest pirate of them all? That's right, Captain Davy and Jones. What, you think we need one more? You think we need one more?
Dying Light, the Beast. The next chapter in the Dying Light saga returns you to an open-world zombie apocalypse, starring Kyle Crane, who emerges after 13 years of captivity and monstrous experimentation. Set in the eerie Castor Woods, this standalone entry emphasizes visceral melee, enhanced firearms, parkour and vehicular traversal, along with beast mode superpowers and dynamic day-night cycles where monstrous volatiles dominate the night.
Damn right I do!
Hell Is Us, an intense third-person action-adventure built on Unreal Engine 5 by Rogue Factor. The game follows UN peacekeeper Remy, who deserts to search for his missing parents in the conflict-torn land of Hedea following a mysterious supernatural calamity. The gameplay blends Souls-inspired melee combat with swords, polearms, axes, stamina-driven dodging, and healing pulses, with exploration in a semi-open world that has no map, compass, or quest markers. Instead, players rely on environmental cues, NPC conversations, and keen observation to progress, echoing old Zelda-style navigations. The Lost Wild. A first-person survival horror experience from Annapurna Interactive, this game plunges players into an overgrown prehistoric research facility overrun by dinosaurs that act like wild adaptive predators, not rampaging monsters. You play as Saskia, a lone investigative reporter navigating tense encounters using non-lethal distractions and cunning stealth tactics. Scavenging and crafting play a key role, as does learning dinosaur behaviors to evade or intimidate them. The tone merges cinematic immersion with survival horror design reminiscent of Jurassic Park, Alien Isolation, and Dino Crisis. The Blood of Dawnwalker, a dark fantasy open-world action RPG by Rebel Wolves, led by former CD Projekt Red talent. The story takes place in the fictional medieval kingdom of Vale Sangora during 1347, where humanity is beset by the Black Death and vampire overlords. You play as Cohen, a half-human, half-vampire Dawnwalker on a desperate 30-day mission to save his plague-stricken sister, Lunka. The game offers a narrative sandbox with impactful player choices, combining swordplay, magic, and vampiric abilities. Combat is enriched by dual human and vampire skill trees, and time progression depends on quest completion, encouraging exploration without undue haste.
Trapped between the two worlds. Fighting to even the score. Fighting to understand the evil behind it all.
He is out there, watching, seeping into you, growing.
Jurassic Park Survival, a single-player, first-person action-adventure set immediately after the events of the 1993 Jurassic Park film. You assume the role of Dr. Maya Joshi, an InGen scientist stranded on Isla Nublar, navigating an environment rife with behavioral and adaptive dinosaurs. The game emphasizes stealth and survival over combat, immersing players in tense encounters and classic franchise locations such as the Visitor Center and possibly the Frozen Raptor scene. Developed by Saber Interactive, it will release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox, though no release date has been announced. Official statements and fan discussions suggest a launch might occur as late as summer 2026. Dark Mass, a first-person psychological horror game developed by Path Games set entirely within a submerged manor beneath the ocean floor. You play as Alice, a deep-sea explorer who, alongside her brother Reed, uncovers a cursed mansion following a sunken shipwreck. Gameplay focuses on exploration, solving puzzles inspired by historical torture devices, making moral decisions, and surviving an eerie underwater environment filled with oppressive silence and dread.
I've never seen anything like this before. What was that? I think I'm not alone down here.
A gritty, realistic, first-person survival horror from Team Clout under the Mundfish Powerhouse label. The game is set in an abandoned research fort where grotesque adaptive monsters lurk. Expect intense body horror, advanced dismemberment mechanics, binaural audio, and physics-driven interactions, ranging from quiet tension to explosive action. Combat is optional. Sometimes evasion is the only choice. The art draws heavy inspiration from classic horror like The Thing and Half-Life 2, with influences from 1990s horror films and unsettling modern horror content. State of Decay 3, a bold evolution of the survival horror franchise by Undead Labs, built in Unreal Engine 5 in collaboration with the Coalition and Obsidian. The gameplay unfolds in a vast, shared open world where players manage a community of survivors, scavenging, reinforcing bases, and navigating the emotional impact of permadeath. Survivor interactions and narrative weight are elevated so that the loss of a teammate carries meaningful consequences in both gameplay and story. You'll experience flexible online co-op for up to 4 players with drop-in, drop-out support and collaborative base building thanks to technology shared with other Xbox titles like Grounded.
I didn't know you well. Be forgotten.
Project S Odin. This is a brand new IP from South Korea's Lionheart Studio, the developer behind Odin Valhalla Rising, known for deep RPG mechanics and strong visual fidelity. It's shaping up to be a third-person, cross-platform looter shooter for PC and consoles, blending fast-paced combat, RPG-style progression, narrative quests, online co-op, and even PvP elements. Imagine something like Destiny or Borderlands, but with Korean RPG polish and persistent endgame mechanics designed for long-term engagement.
무너진 도시에서 키를 찾고 탈출해. 이제 우리의 세상을 되찾게 될 거야.
Little Nightmares 3, now developed by Supermassive Games under Bandai Namco, arrives on October 10th, 2025. This atmospheric puzzle platform horror continues the eerie legacy of the series, introducing 2 new protagonists, Lo, with a bow and arrow, and Alone, armed with a wrench, who must cooperate to navigate the haunting world known as the Spiral. From shadowy carnivals to a sandy necropolis and sinister candy factory, players will solve intricate puzzles, stealth past monstrous inhabitants, and survive in an oppressive, nightmarish dreamscape. For the first time, the game features online co-op for 2 players, with AI companions stepping in during solo play. Black State is an ambitious third-person, story-driven action-adventure shooter from Turkey's Motion Blur studio, powered by Unreal Engine 5. Set within a secretive world of scientific experiments, players assume the role of an agent tasked with rescuing captives and uncovering the truth behind a mysterious, cataclysmic event. Its signature mechanics combine Metal Gear Solid-like stealth, Portal-inspired teleportation through portal doors, and fast-paced combat against both human and robotic foes. The game delivers photoreal visuals, dynamic weather effects, and a strong technical showcase, including a detailed 500-page design document and ongoing dev diaries.
Access granted.
I think I found a new portal.
Hold up. Enemy here!
DABA Land of Water Scar. Developed by Dark Star as part of Sony's China Hero project, DABA is a dark fantasy Souls-like action RPG built in Unreal Engine 5. You assume the role of a humanoid clay puppet on a quest to collect magical water fragments to save a world on the brink of collapse. Traversing non-linear interconnected environments, ancient city ruins, prisons, rift valleys, snowy wastelands, eerie forests, and floating cities, you'll face challenging enemies and bosses, relying on careful timing, combo mastery, and stamina management in combat. The Expanse Osiris Reborn, developed and published by Owlcat Games, in collaboration with Alcon Interactive, Osiris Reborn is a third-person action RPG set in the universe of The Expanse. You play as a Pinkwater security mercenary caught in a lockdown on Eros during the proto-molecule outbreak. The game features tactical real-time combat, cover-based shooting, zero-G maneuvering, squad mechanics, and strategic grenade use, all drawing strong comparisons to Mass Effect. Players can choose an Earther, Belter, or Martian origin, which will influence dialogue, mission options, and companion relationships.
They never look up. So far, you were right. They shut down this. Wait! I need backup.
Hold on, I'm coming!
Project DT is an upcoming sci-fi action game from Chinese studio Digital Sky, currently in development using Unreal Engine 5. The title blends high-speed cinematic combat reminiscent of Nier, Automata with intricate stealth mechanics often compared to Metal Gear Solid, promising fluid, acrobatic movement and precision takedowns in a dystopian future setting. First unveiled through a stunning 9-minute 4K gameplay demo, the game remains in active development with no confirmed release window, but community updates suggest it's targeting a 2025+ launch. Platforms announced include PC and Mac, while console versions are highly anticipated, though still unconfirmed. AGNI Village of Calamity, developed and published by Separu Interactive, is a cinematic, fixed-camera survival horror game deeply rooted in Indonesian folklore. Players step into the shoes of AGNI, an investigator from a covert Indonesian police unit who defies orders to probe a remote village steeped in mystery and dread. The game emphasizes exploration, puzzle-solving, resource management, and tense combat encounters, all woven through a dark narrative about trauma, guilt, and cosmic horror. It features photorealistic visuals enhanced by facial motion capture and evokes classic survival horror titles in both perspective and atmosphere.
Agni, Kak, ini Lila, Kak. Ayo pulang. Lila mau pulang.